I just want an actual fucking game. And, like, I'm never gonna get it there. At the same time, though, like, again, like, the echo stuff in WuWa is just another way to demotivate me from even wanting to bother. Like, the reality is, man, if I went and bought a lottery ticket every single time I was to roll an echo and, like, and play it like one of the people who actually play that game regularly, I'd probably be worth $1 billion by now if I got a fucking lottery ticket every fucking time I did something in there and tried to roll and upgrade them. Because the reality is, you're like 30 to like 50 times more likely to win the lottery than you are to get, you know, that perfect gear rolling piece in something like that. In Genshin, some pieces like Goblet Slot are that bad, but then like Feather and Flower Slot, because of the locked main stats and how substats work there, it's more like 4 times more likely to win the lottery instead of like 50. It's still awful when you think about it. You're more likely to get struck by lightning several times over than you are to win the fucking lottery. Alright, like, that's just the reality of the probability if you really want to go deep into the details there. Exactly, and that's how they get you to log in every fucking day, man. The lottery odds are terrible, yeah. Like, one of the more popular lotteries here where I live, right? Let's say Lotto 649. Basically, what you have to do is you have to guess 6 numbers, 6 unique numbers, between 1 and 49. So, in total, you have to pick 6 numbers, right? And then every time you pick a number, for each one, you eliminate that number from being selected. You have to pick 6 different numbers. 6 unique. 6 from 49 numbers. Once you cannot pick any duplicate numbers. So let's say you pick number 2. You can't pick number 2 again for your other 5 numbers. And you need to match all 6 numbers. So you're going to remove some of them from the list. Alright, there's 6 out of 42, 6 out of 49. Yeah, 43 times... Yeah, oh yeah, I messed it up. You're right. And then divide that by 43. Yeah, sure. 14 million. You know what? Yeah, that's still way better odds than getting your perfect roll piece. Either way, you're not fucking getting it, man. You're more likely to win the fucking lottery, and you're not winning the lottery. So here's the thing, lotteries have been a thing for like well over 1,000 years. It's not like a new concept. It was designed as a way like by the Greeks. I think it was the Greeks that first came up with it as a way to help pay for services, because like the idea was, you know, for public services and stuff like that in ancient Greece, the idea is people will like chip in and put money into a pool, right? This is like a way they could get people to pay money to fund stuff in the government back then without them thinking they're paying a tax. They take a portion of that and they give it to whoever they draw from, and then they use the rest of the money to go pay for whatever, to like clean stuff up and build statues or whatever other things they needed. It is like, it's not like a new thing, but like that's like where it originated from. But here's the thing, exactly. They don't even have to rig it. Here's the thing, right? Scratch cards, sure, right? If we're talking scratch cards, of course they're rigged. They print the scratch cards. They can choose when someone is going to win, right? When they issue a winning ticket from a scratch card, that's easy. If we're talking about like from you pick the numbers, they don't have to rig it, because the reality is, the odds are extremely against everyone's favor, right? You're not going to win. You're like 1 in 15 million is not good odds. Let's be real, right? You would have to get every single, like the amount of money you would have to spend. Let's say you're buying the lottery ticket, right? If you think about it this way, let's say the prize pool, let's say for that lottery is like $30 million, right? And you bought every single possible lottery ticket combination. The lottery ticket's probably like what, $6, $7? So you bought 15 million different lottery tickets, so you can 100% get the winning one. But you only win 30 million, but you spent how much? You just spent like over 100 million on lottery tickets. You're not going to win. Even if you win for 100% odds, you still lose. Because it's like you win 30 million, but you spend over 100 million. You lost $70 million to do that. Right? The ball. But like, if we're talking like scratch cards, right? They print the scratch cards. They can choose how many win and by how much. So they'll issue a couple like, okay, your scratch card's like $3, $5, right? Well, we'll issue like a bunch of them where like you win just enough to get another scratch card. There's a bunch where you lose. And then it's like maybe once every, a couple weeks they'll issue like one that actually wins the jackpot. And that's how they make money. You win like small amounts, but then like you go use it to go get another scratch card and then you lose again. So you end up losing more there. Right? That's how they make money off of it. Here's the thing, right? Casinos. Here's how I'd like to look at them as well, right? Let's say you look at slot. But here's the thing: machines in casinos, or like you go to arcade machines, right? You ever like seen those like arcade clog win a prize machines? The casino machines work on the same thing. In fact, the same companies that make the slot machines and stuff in casinos, they also make those like arcade machines. A lot of them, right? Like Sega, for example, is one of the biggest companies behind like making these arcade and gambling machines. They're one of the biggest. That's actually the biggest part of Sega's business. Right? All their video game stuff, the Yakuza, Sonic the Hedgehog, Phantasy Star Online, and all the other crap, that's just a front that they use to like look nice in the public eye. Especially with how like nice they are with people using their IP. Because the reality is deep behind it. They're very, very deeply involved in all this other crap. But anyways, with these machines, they can also set limits on when they actually give a prize. So they're still going to give a payout. But like they have quotas where it's like, we need to make this amount of money first before we'll let someone win a prize. Right? So for a while, they're going to be rigged to not give a prize here. And here's the other thing. Here's another thing to note. If someone wins something in that machine, in either a casino, arcade, or whatever, if someone wins, that's when you know, give up, you're not gonna win, and stop. Because the reality is you're not going to win no matter what you do. Because they just gave the payout, and they're back to rigged mode. You're not going to win. Right? That's just how they do things there. Because that's how they can make money. They're gonna do that to make money. Right? It doesn't sound the nicest. But that's just how they like to operate and how they work. Right? Thanks for the resub. Damn, 26 months. Just over 2 years now. But yeah. In normal lottery, they don't have to, because again, like 1 in 15 million odds, you're not fucking winning. You're not fucking winning at all. Right? You're not winning. Oh, but like, yeah, like, here's like a nice thing, right? Like what's nice is like, oh wait. I don't know why this page was saved. Let's say we go to artifacts now, right? Let's say we want, it doesn't matter. So here's the RNG with the artifacts, right? Wait, we'll do Genshin artifact here. We can ignore main here's like the possible main stat. This is like the stat list here. We only need to look at the main stats here. Let's say we want, let's say we're talking goblet slot. So, not only when you're trying to get a gear drop, right? You have to roll 1 out of 2, 50-50 on what set it is. And then you have to roll another, right? So like, you know, here we'll have the thing increment up, right? So 2 right here. 2 rolls, right? 2 possibilities to get the set to drop. Now you have 5 possible slots. So now that's 2 pieces of RNG. Now we're at 1 out of 10, right? Now we look at the possible subsets. Let's say we want to target the goblet slot. What are the possible main stats you can get in goblet? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 possible stats. So multiply that by 18 now. So we have 180 pieces of RNG. Now, when a piece of gear drops, they have 4, they can have 3 or 4 substats by default. Ideally, you want 4 because the first roll you do, if you don't have 4, will give you your last substat. So that's already 2 more rolls, right? Between 3 and 4. So you multiply that by 2. Now, each of those 4 substat rolls, they're in a range, right? And you have 4 of them. So 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, and now for the possible substats. You have all of these possibilities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 possible stats. You can get 4 out of 10. Right? We're not even looking, and then, like, we're not even looking at, like, when we're rolling it after the fact. It's only going to get worse. Because every time we increment one, we have 1 out of 4 possible, 1 out of 16 possible upgrades every single time. 5 times over. Right? So anyways, let's say you wanted, the best possible combination, which would be attack percent. So that's 1. You want crit rate, crit damage, that's 3 stats. And then, you know, and you miss the roll energy recharge or attack, the artifact isn't. No, it's still, we're talking about perfect roll. We're not talking about missing rolls or whatever. We're talking about the exact perfect ultimate piece. So let's say you get your attack percent, your crit rate, your crit damage, I don't know, elemental mastery. Right? So let's say you wanted that, or energy recharge, whatever. So like, how many possible things here? You have, what? You got, you eliminate 9 factorial there for like each. Not 9. You have 10 factorial divided by 4 factorial, right? Divide that by 4. Oh wait, no, my mistake. Right, because you have your possible one, and then divide by 6, yeah. 10 factorial, divide that by 4 factorial, and then we divide that by 6 factorial. So that, we already have 1.2 million possible combinations. And this is still at 0. We haven't used a single level upgrade on your artifact now. And then now, every single time, right? So you, every plus, was it +4, right? You get 1 stat increase, right? So that's 1 out of 4 times another 1 out of 4 because you're targeting the tier 4 roll. You're always going to want to target the tier 4 roll. So, 1 out of 4 times 1 out of 4. Let's say we'll be nice and you want to roll a crit stat. We'll be nice where you can have either crit rate or critical damage as you roll. So instead of one being 1 out of 4 twice, it's 1 out of 4 and plus 1 out of 2. Right? It's just, you know, like that's... But yeah, if we're talking about you want it all specifically into 1 stat, that's 256 multiplier every single time. Right, 1 out of 4 times 1 out of, 1 out of 4. Not 1 of... no, that's 16 times 16 each one. 16, and then you have it 5 times. But yeah. Uh, but like let's say you all needed it into crit damage. You wanted 5 max crit damage rolls. Okay, so that's multiplied by 4 times 4 times 5. Right? Because you want all the things there. You know, you have your odds are almost 1 in 100 million. Right? But hey, we can be nice and be like, you can get either crit rate or crit damage. In that case, we just divide this by 2, and it's now 1 out of 50 million. Right? And this is just Goblet. Feather and Flower is a little bit nicer because you actually eliminate either attack flat and HP flat from substat rolls. And you don't have to roll main stat because it's always fixed. But like, either way... like, either way, man, it's not great. The reality is the outlook is not good. Yeah, if you allow for either anytime, it's 1 in 16. If you need it to all be in a specific one, 1 in 256. And if it's 1 for either, but yeah. I'm just saying, you just want something good to roll. That's why I gave it the 1 in 16. Right? Because it's still going to be beneficial. But like, this is your probability, man, of getting your fully maxed Goblet. It's not good. It's really awful. Here's the thing. You're more likely to win the fucking lottery, man. You're more likely to win the lottery. Heck, you're almost 4 times more likely to win the lottery and win a couple $1 million. If you got a lottery ticket every single time. That's how bad it is. And that's how they keep you playing endlessly. That's how. That's how they keep you in there, because you're never going to get it. And then it gets even worse when they release a new set to power creep older sets. So then you have to redo the entire thing again from scratch. So it only gets worse. Why the hell do they need so many freaking sets at this point? This is ridiculous. They keep making more of them. Like, goddamn, why do they need so many? Because it is a cakewalk by comparison. This is why I'm also like completely demotivated. This is why I'm completely demotivated from even bothering. Because here's the thing, right? I go pull a character and then what? Right? I gotta go deal with whatever material. Let's say we take this, we'll take Ayaya. I need to go get all of this crap. And then we have those odds to work with. Like, fuck no. Like, fuck no, man. This is the shit I gotta deal with. Like, hell no. Right? Hell no, I'm not dealing with this crap. I gotta deal with this, and then I gotta deal with this. With these terrible odds. Right? You're just not going to fucking want to do it, man. Eventually, you get demotivated entirely. Right? I don't know if someone put the whole, like, got the whole list there for the WuWa stats, but I'm pretty sure they have, like, an even wider range. Was it? Shocking math. They deleted the post. Why the fuck did they delete the post, man? Someone got mad and they got rid of it, man. Okay. You have 5 tiers here. You got rarity 5. You got your stat ranges. Are they Isn't like anything within this range? Oh wait, no, we have detailed stat distributions. You got 8 in the range. You have 8. And you have 5 of them. Having them as a main stat does not eliminate them from a substat either. Right? Like, it's just awful when you think about it, man. When you think about, like, the possible ranges and everything. And this is, like, the other stats here. These are your ranges. It's ridiculous. This is your possible minimum and maximum stat rolls for everything there. But like, yeah, it's just awful overall when you think about it. And this is how... Nah! Keep in mind, Genshin only had 4 stats in a range. This has 8. This is 8. We already saw how bad the math is when you have 4. This is 8 per stat. This is worse. Genshin was already awful with 4. Now we're at 8. Right? Now we're at 8. And then like we go to like Pridewin. Oh, let's go play WuWa, right? The crybaby game. Let's just take a character. Let's say, you guys like cars, right? So we'll take the, right, it's the... You guys like cars, right? So, like, let's say we get the car, right? This thing, right? So, we'll see what you need when you get the car, right? When you get your car. So she needs what? The car needs all this crap too on top. Because, yeah. Because this is great, man. No, it's not. Fuck no. Right? Fuck no. You need all of this shit, and then you gotta deal with even worse gear RNG. Fuck no. Right, and here's your possibility of the things here with the 1 cost, 3 cost, 4 cost. 4 costs, you can farm the main stats as much as you want. But then you have to deal with substat hell. Genshin didn't have that many substats to deal with, right? Look at this list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 substats. 13 substats. Right? 13 factorial. We divide that by... You get 5 of them. Divide that by... 5 factorial. And then we divide what's left by the remaining, right? So we divide that by, what, 8? Divide this by 8 factorial. Right? So then we have 1287. And then we have 8 possible things here for each. You want all of them to be the max value here. So that's... what? 1 out of 8 to the exponent of 5. So then we multiply this by 8 exponent 5. We're already at 42 million, and this is just substat. This is just the fucking substats. We still haven't even counted the main stats. Right? The worst Genshin piece is already still... You're still better odds than any WuWa Echo. This is, like, actually awful. Like, it is actually just really awful. And this is how they keep you locked in, man. Farming all this shit every fucking day. Right? Like, this is how. Like, this is how, man. Like, here's the thing, right? If I'm gonna have to compare at least dealing with gearing in Genshin versus WuWa, no matter what, Genshin is better because the RNG, the theoretical best possible RNG, is still nowhere near as awful as this. This is really, really bad. But anyways, let's say we're gonna go after your main stats now, right? We just went through your substat hell distribution. Let's say you want your 4-cost echo here. Let's say you wanted your crit rate, because you probably want crit rate, as this you can't get enough crit rate on your own unless you're using a crit rate weapon. So anyways, you're using one of these, right? You know, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you have 1 out of 7 chance. So we multiply this by 7. And this is your odds of getting your maximum perfect crit rate echo in your 4-cost slot. 1 out of 295 million. Okay. Let's say you got that, right? So we'll divide this by 7, and we'll look at your 3-cost echoes. Okay. So I know some of these will have 2 or 3 possible, I think it was. So we can eliminate some of these. We can eliminate 3 of them from each of them. It will have like 3 possible, 2 or 3. Let's just say 2.5, because some of them have 3 possible elemental stats. Some of them only have 2, from what I remember. Anyways, you got 1, 2, 3. We'll say 5.5. 6.5, 7.5. Okay, so we're back to 7.5 here. So that's about 1 in 316 million twice. To get your perfect 3-cost echo. Okay, so we'll divide that by 7.5. And then you have 2 more slots for your 1-cost echoes. These are, you get either attack was it HP percent? And it's one of these, and then you get flat HP, right? So it's 1 out of 3 for here. Right, it's 1 out of 3 here. If I'm not mistaken. Right, because you always get that flat HP there. So again, we multiply this by 3, and 1 out of 126 million. Because you probably want attack percent with your HP, unless you're using something that scales off of HP percent, which you want something more specific there, and the same with defense percent. Like, the reality is, this is worse than your fucking goblet in Genshin. Your 1-cost echoes are worse than your goblet. Your 3-cost echoes are even worse than that. They're like 3 times worse. Same with your 4-cost echoes. It's just awful all around once you start counting all of this. Right? It's ridiculous. And this is how they get you to grind endlessly day in and day out. And this is how they get you to do it, man. It's absolutely awful. Honestly, I should find the start of that rant there, and we can make a video out of that. I could probably make a clickbait video where, like, the Genshin artifacts are superior to WuWa echoes, but then both of them are awful. You're more likely to win the lottery or something. Because the reality is, you are just more likely to win the lottery than you are to get that. If we're talking about perfect possible stats. But yeah. That's how they get you farming endlessly and wasting your life. Well, so like basically the WuWa stat, the way WuWa's works is you have like a specific fixed main stat and substat thing there. Right? Like you have 2 on each of them. You'll have 2 stats. Some of them will always have a specific flat stat in there, so we don't count those in the list. But then you have these things here. 3-cost echoes. You know, some of them have 3 possible elemental stats in addition to being able to roll these stats. And some of them have 2. So I was just like 2.5, whatever. Because like you're rolling for a specific one. Right? Like if your set gives you fusion damage, you want a fusion damage bonus. No, you have 2 main stats. You have two main stats, but the second main stat is fixed, so I don't count it. I don't count the second main stat, but the substats appear in all of them. This is your substat list. And unlike Genshin, you cannot have you can have duplicate stats. You can have a duplicate main and substat. So if you have attack percent on your main stat, you can still have attack percent on your substat. Same with flat attack and flat HP and stuff. You are allowed to have those. And you have 5 substats on your echoes. You have 5. 5 total, and you have 8 possible rolls in a range for each of them. Right? Like you have... Oh yeah, we also didn't count this. We didn't count this last piece here. Your chance to roll higher value distribution here. For attack and defense. It's not even counted here. Like, they didn't even count, like, your chances there for this one. But, like, look at how low your chance is. One is a fixed one, yeah. It's still really bad either way. This is just the value of your rolls when you get the max. Right? We're also just assuming you get the highest possible. Right? We're assuming every single chance probability is equal. Right? So we're actually being nicer by saying your probability of getting your max roll is equal. The reality is it's a lot worse. But yeah, like someone made a video on this shit too. But yeah, like there's just so much crap here, man. Sample size of 9,000 substats. The fuck, this is crazy. Like the reality is you're several times more likely to win the lottery than you are going to get this shit.